So one of the other important teaching methods of PSI-PMI is social constructivism. How do we promote social constructivism in our classrooms?
So I think it's really important for kids to just understand basically that when you're learning, it's not an isolated experience. So just helping them to understand that we all lean on each other and we all work together. And that's how people learn best, is when you have somebody else to talk with and someone else to share with. So that's just a very basic thing. It's just to really drive that point home as much as possible in any context you can, that your classmates are there to help you and you're there to help your classmates as well. And one of the main times that that happens in a social constructivist classroom or a PSI PMI classroom is during formative assessment. So when the students, you've completed your direct instruction or you've done a burst of direct instruction, and now it's time for the kids to work together and to talk together, and kind of haggle it out over a formative assessment question. And so it's really important to set them up for success by really getting them prepared for what that looks like and what that sounds like and what they should be doing during that time. So before I would ever start having my kids just go at a formative assessment question on their own, I want to really set them up by talking about, okay, when these questions come up on the screen, I'm going to expect you to be working with your classmates around your table. And I want you to be talking, and I'm not going to be managing you. I'm going to be walking around the room, and you're going to be kind of directing your own learning at that point. So before we do that, what do you think that will look like? And I ask the kids to, talk with your groups. What do you think that's going to look like? And then we bring some things up and we write them on a chart paper. So it might look like everyone leaning in. It might look like all of us focusing on, or all of us being so that we can look at the board so we can see the formative assessment question. So what are these things that I'm going to see as a teacher when I look around? What am I going to see? And then also thinking about what it's going to sound like. So I'm going to hear lots of whispering, or I'm going to hear lots of talking, but the levels will be low. Or I might notice that it sounds like everybody taking turns talking at a table. So I don't want one person taking over and really taking the whole conversation over. It might also sound like somebody who's been talking for a little while, looking and noticing, oh, this person at my table hasn't said anything. So it might sound like, well, what do you think? Or what do you think the answer might be? So it's, getting the kids to think about the things that they're going to see, or the things that I will see when I look around, and the things that I will hear when I look around as the teacher. That really is helpful, I've found.
I found lots of modeling in the beginning helps. So showing the students as well, building off of what Susan said. Now let's look, we're going to have a group sit, and I'm going to sit in with that group, and the kids can observe us working through a problem, talking, and showing them what it really looks like. And also making sure during the social constructivism time, I am walking around and I'm still engaged. I'm not off at my desk. I'm monitoring the groups. If I see a quiet kid, I'm going to make sure to help encourage them to be a part of it. And in the beginning of the year, or whenever you start this, it's going to take some work, but they eventually really just jump in with it. And, sometimes it might just be a think, pair, share, where I tell the kids, again, to turn to a partner. We're going to discuss something that showed up during direct instruction. But again, I'm going to model that first for them. So really teaching them what it looks like, again, like Susan said, what it looks like, what it sounds like, and being an active part by walking around, but not being the leader, turning it over to them.